Change takes time, growth takes work, but showing up every day is progress.
This is the 365 Proof Podcast, where we share real stories, honest conversations, and practical insight from mental health experts, addiction specialists, and people living the message.
If you're looking for guidance, inspiration, or real insight into recovery and purpose, you're in the right place.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 365 Proof Podcast by Defining Wellness. I am your host, Daniel Phyfer.
And I'm your co-host, Courtney Milan.
Today, we are joined by one of our dearest friends and colleagues, and she goes by the name of Ruth Ann Rigby. Ruth Ann, welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm so
Welcome.
humbled and honored to be here.
So,
This is exciting.
Ruth Ann is no stranger to behavioral health care. She's no stranger to recovery. She's 29 years in long-term recovery herself and has really made it her life's work to help others, find what all of us in this room have found. 29 years long-term recovery. She's the co-founder of First Responders of Mississippi, which we're super excited to talk about that. She's the chief development officer of Capstone Wellness based in Searcy, Arkansas, which is in a phenomenal program. She's won more awards than I can probably count.
There's an international award, I think.
She's you name it, she's gotten
That's
it.
right.
She's on several boards. She's started the Nashville Seed Conference, the Opioid and Heroin Addiction Summit, which we just spoke about a little bit before we started. So nonetheless, a very long resume that would probably take me half an hour to get through. But without further ado, again, welcome.
Hey, I'm just Ruth Ann. I'm an alcoholic and addict every day of the week. Thank
There you
God.
go.
Yeah,
That's right.
I don't like all that frou-frou stuff.
That's right.
But
Well,
hey, it's recovery teaches us to be accepting and willing. And so when somebody asks me to show up, I show up.
There you go.
So,
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we're glad. I know, you being on this campus and in the history of, you've sent a lot of people to us and trusted us to help them. And that means a lot. And we value you for sure. And, you and I have had the chance to work on a lot of stuff together to help our community and our state. And we're not done yet. So I'm excited.
No, I think, we try to find our community and state in better shape than we want to leave it better than we found it, obviously. Right. And you and Danny squared and Courtney,
Yes.
and we try to make that difference every day.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, look, the way I would like to start, with whatever your comfort level is, I know you're an open book just like I am, but let's talk about pre-recovery, Ruth Ann. Let's talk about.
Oh, wow.
Tell us a little bit about your story. You don't have to go super in depth, but I want the listeners to know Ruth Ann, the person in long-term recovery, not just the professional.
There you go.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm a native Jacksonian. I lived in the same house I grew up in until about 5 years ago when my husband and I relocated to Canton, Mississippi.
Right down the road.
And I literally 7 miles. 7 miles. And, I grew up in a family that unfortunately had a lot of addiction. And my mom was an alcoholic. And, those things, they're what make us who we are today, and how we handle those things as we're growing up. I always say, some of the best employees that you can ever hire are children of alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because
Amen.
they're survivors and they're workhorses. And that was me. We lived out on a farm since I lived next door to my grandparents, and my grandparents were my saving grace. And when my mom would get too intoxicated, I would just go out the back door and either go to the pool and swim by myself as a 6-year-old, if you can imagine having a 6-year-old swim by themselves. But,
Gen X.
yep,
Yeah.
I did that. And then I would go to my grandparents. And, I grew up going to Jackson Academy. One of the greatest teachers who truly impacted my life was Ann Caves. She was my first grade teacher at Jackson Academy.
Wow.
And I was really blessed to repeat the first grade because I missed so much of the first grade because my mom was an alcoholic. And, my dad would drop me off at 6:15 in the morning before the gates opened at JA. And, that was it. Back in the day, that's how you did it.
That's right.
But, My saving grace really as a child was being able to show horses competitively all over. I could just walk out and go get on a pony or do anything like that. My cousin Stacy showed hunter jumpers, and I first started showing quarter horses.
Huh.
And, we had cattle, we had all those things on the farm, so I would just get on a piece of equipment and go count cows when I needed to leave my house. Or I would go out to the pasture and get my black pony, John, who was a Welsh pony. That means he's a fatso. He was a fatso. And when my mom bought him, we had a station wagon back then. And I like to think of it as Chevy Chase's station wagon, if you can envision that. And my mother had the seats pulled out, and she put that pony in the back of the station wagon and hauled him home. And, I have a love of horses that she gave me, and that was my escape to go to when I just couldn't stand being at home. I had a brother and a sister that were wild childs. I mean, they were.
I think your brother spent a little time with my dad back
He
in
did
the day. Yeah.
back in the day, and they would have some throwdowns when my parents would be traveling. And I would have to go next door and get my grandparents to come and break it all up. They had me serving kegs when I was 6.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, they were having throwdowns.
Are you the baby?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm the baby. We were a blended family, but I was still the baby.
Gotcha.
And Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
So, we had a lot of things out there. We had an indoor pool that was the cool place to be. And, so all those people would come out, in West Jackson to come see us. So, but, when my sister got married, my brother left to go to military school, and it was just me. And my mom did whatever she had to do to survive. You never know somebody's journey until you're on the outside of it. And my mom got sober when I was 18. And so that's really the script flipped in my house. I was born on my dad's birthday. I started working for his company when I was like 11. I was estimating jobs and doing payroll. And then he bought this little concrete company down on Southwest Street so my brother could take care of it and do it. And, he did. He thought of other people, but he didn't think of the things that he really needed to. And, I grew up, despising my mom because she was an alcoholic. And I said I would never become an alcoholic. And, I grew up with my dad. I was born on my dad's birthday, all those things. And so I'm a typical child of an alcoholic.
Right.
And so I started scuba diving when I was 13 because my brother and my dad had learned how to scuba dive. And so they liked bringing all the students out to our house because we had a pool you could swim in all year.
Yeah.
And so
And practice.
Oh, yeah. And I learned to dive when I was, 12, 13. And
Really?
I did a lot of dives with the people from Skippers. And then I became an instructor at 18. And then I had a horrible scuba diving accident in my early 20s. If my mom was sitting here, she would tell you I've used up all my 9 lives. I really have. With really traumatic events. Like, we wouldn't think of them as traumatic when they happened back then, but now we would say, oh, my God, that's a medical trauma.
Yeah,
Right.
You need to do this and this and this. There was no playbook when it happened.
Right.
And, I have had a rock climbing accident through Colorado Outward Bound. My father thought it would be a good idea if I go on a Colorado Outward Bound trip so I could go off to college and know what that's like. And it was nothing like that. It was absolutely horrible. I don't do well in altitude. And, the rule was you always travel as fast as the slowest person. Well, I was the slowest person because I was really struggling with altitude. And I ended up having a rock climbing accident and had to be airlifted back home. And the physicians that coordinated that were George Truitt and Dr. Thompson from Capital Orthopedic. Wow. And so my brother flew out there on the plane and brought me home. Wow. And I had shattered my leg and just crazy stuff.
Goodness
and,
You were adventurous, though.
Oh, yes.
Like, gosh,
I was,
which, not to say you're not now, but it's a little shocking because...
Wow.
I mean,
remember, I was just saying, I know everything about Ruth Ann. No, I don't.
Well, there you go.
Well, we've been on a hike. We went on a
we
very
went on our
easy
own
hike
expedition.
in Boulder with Phil and Eric Button.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was on a knee scooter, and crutches and a boot.
Hiking?
And do you know that I ended up getting rhabdo? You don't know what rhabdo
No.
is?
Oh.
After that, because Phil and I, we went
Oh,
together.
you went crazy.
Yeah,
You
and
ran.
We basically
You ran.
two adult men like racing.
Oh, of
and,
course.
and Eric and I just, you know,
Yeah.
Eric went for a little ways, and I said, look, if they're not here by 5 o'clock, we're going to the
Yeah.
car.
But hey,
But you were on a scooter?
No, I was on crutches,
She
though.
was on
I had a
crutches.
walking stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't missing that trip because we had planned it.
Okay.
And it was just
NATAP
it was
in
going to be a
Denver.
great,
Gotcha.
great outdoor experience.
but I say that.
So what
because
is that thing you just said? Nate?
I wish I could describe it in a way that made a lot of sense.
It
But
won't.
basically, your muscles just shut down.
Yeah, you become
you
mush.
lose something stops getting to your muscles.
Like
to
all of a
help them.
sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, Phil hikes, lives in Boulder, and like me, they're very competitive. Obviously, and then me
yeah.
and Philip are obviously very competitive. So I'm like racing a avid hiker around these mountains, and then
They're not walking; they running.
And then we went on vacation to the Grand in Fairhope
Uh-huh.
when Wells was like just started running. And so I'm chasing this toddler
Oh
around.
my gosh.
And next thing I know, I'll wake up and I can't move. Like my body shut down. Like I called several physician friends and I was like, do I need to go to the ER? And they were like, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Of course
Typical.
not.
But I was in rough shape for a while.
This is why all of us need MedJet.
Yeah.
I have
Yes.
MedJet. I'm a huge advocate for
There you go.
MedJet.
Yeah.
My husband and I have MedJet.
You never know.
It's an Alabama company. Get it. It's worth every damn dime.
What is that?
Oh, it's
like
it's
jet, like plane?
no, yeah, it's
can-
an air ambulance that
Yeah.
can bring you back home no matter where you
And you
are.
don't have to pay 50 G's to get.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
then if you go
gosh.
international, you just ask them to flip the policy.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh,
So
oh my goodness.
She's prepared.
Yeah, she's prepared.
I've learned the hard way.
So anyway, I took us down
goodness.
a rhabdo rabbit hole. Continue. I'm sorry.
But it does happen,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So I mean, we
That's
did that,
wild.
and then I had a horrible scuba diving accident where, the people that were responsible for me were the people from the dive shop because my parents never went.
Really?
It was how they could farm me out to just go and do whatever they wanted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And but those people like Mike King, who is an attorney and works at Trustmark, and his wife Wanda. I mean, they were good people to me, and of course other people from the dive shop, and I had to be airlifted. A group of us had decided to go lobstering. And we didn't have back then the computers that we have now. So I'd estimated my tables and everything, and it was just a bad day. It was just a bad day, and they brought me up. They immediately had to start doing CPR on me, and the radios on the ship no ship.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
big difference.
goodness.
But like they reached another boat that was smaller and that could take me in.
Fast. Yeah.
And so I was met with a helicopter that took me to the Baptist Hospital in Pensacola. Now, this is what is told to me. I don't remember any of it because I died like 3 different times. And so they put me from Baptist. They put me in the Navy decompression chamber at the Navy base in Pensacola, where I was like there for 72 hours. And you have a whole team of SEALs with you and medical personnel. And I was just lucky to be able to do that. And then when I finished that, I went straight back to the Baptist Hospital where I was in ICU, I'm told. So, and then, somebody from the dive shop just stayed with me.
Wow.
And it was Barbara and Chuck McDaniel, and I had known them since I was like 11. They were like my family.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of people in recovery is that you can pick your extended family.
Yeah. I mean, the
Absolutely.
common theme I've heard so far, I know we got a ways to go, but is that your community when you were younger,
Yeah.
it's part of the reason you're still here, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And, a lot of those people probably were in recovery at the time and, but they also did some bad things
Of
too.
course.
So,
Of course.
but, like I said, my mom said I used up 9 of my 9 lives.
Right.
So, So, but I did go back diving one more time because I was the kid that would go grab my gear and sit on the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That
You
was
loved
my.
it.
that was my
Yeah.
happy place. Like
Yeah.
nobody could come mess with me on the bottom of
Right,
the pool.
right.
So,
Right.
so it was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us are survivors in one way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
And, you know, and then I went off to school, and then, you know, I met my husband, my soon-to-be husband, because that was his second job on my family's farm. He actually worked for my cousin.
Really?
Because all first responders, whether they're a state trooper, police officer, deputy, EMS, everything, they work 2 and 3 jobs.
Mhm.
And that was my husband's second and third job. And
Wow.
I met him on a fluke. Like, I was going in my other life, because you asked me about my other life. So,
Yeah, yeah.
my other life, I was a mover and shaker in the retail world, in the retail space, and I was known as a fixer.
Yeah.
And so I could go in and turn around stores real quick if they had issues of like high shrink and things like that. And so I saw this man struggling with a pony in a pasture, and I just pulled my Acura Vigor over that was red,
Yeah. Nice.
and jumped the fence and grabbed the pony. It was Helen Barkley's pony,
Okay.
and she boarded out at my cousin's, and I gave it back to him, and I said, "My name is Ruth, and I'm Stacy's cousin." And I marched right back to my car and went to work. But I was telling somebody this yesterday. And so I called my mom, and told her I had met the man I was going to marry one day.
Wow.
You know, and my mom's life changed when she got into recovery, and I grew up going to Alateen and Alatot, just to find some serenity and peace, because I think it's important for family members to also get the help that they need. And so I went everywhere to get it.
Yeah.
And then, she and my dad were very active in, the old doctor's hospital and AA and Fondren and all those things.
Yeah.
And then my parents got divorced. So when your parent gets divorced when you're a 20-something, it's a whole nother ball game, because, I went from a daddy's girl to my mother's protector.
Yeah.
And my dad made some really bad decisions, and he did wrong to my mom, and I wasn't going to tolerate it.
Yeah.
And she was very vulnerable, and I didn't care. I was going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And he had asked my grandmother for an ungodly amount of money, and she gave it to him. And I was like, oh, no. And back then, we also had radios in our vehicles. Y'all probably didn't have Motorola radios, but I did. You probably had something else. But, I summoned my dad home, and I said, you bring my grandmother her money back.
Yeah.
And I said, when I escorted him down there, because they lived next door, and he came back to the house, I said, you grab everything you possibly can, because you're never coming back to this property ever again. And, when you have to be that person for a parent, it's different.
Yeah.
And, I went from despising my mom to my mom's my hero, and I will move heaven and earth to protect her.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't see him for a very long time. And
Wow.
one of the things that happened, like with Jody, he lived out on the farm. He is an investigator. Like, he can solve crimes really quick. But he went through our stuff that was in the boathouse. We didn't know what was in the boathouse, but he did.
Right.
And it was stuff I never knew. And, my father had taken a life insurance policy out on my trip to Colorado, like a high policy. And so basically somebody probably pushed me off the mountain because he paid them to.
Oh, my God.
But you never know. But that's the kind of crazy stuff that happens within families.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't make sense out of it. My parents did get divorced, and, I didn't see my dad for a very long time. The last time I saw my dad was he would go to Al-Anon conferences. He was real involved there, and he had a stroke up in North Mississippi at some conference, and they brought him back to Mississippi, and my husband asked me, I can't remember if Jody and I were married at the time or it was just there, but he said, do you want to go get closure with your dad? I said, yes. And so he got permission from the hospital to sneak me in, and I went and did that. And then when I went to his funeral, I didn't know the man that they were talking about. I didn't know that man. You know, it was almost like he was a chameleon. I was like, who are they talking about?
Right.
And then the minister, you know, he wants to bring me up on the podium or something, and he calls me Ruby.
Oh,
And
no.
that just did not sit well with me.
No.
Yeah.
He said, Ruby, come on up. Ruby, who's Ruby?
Yeah.
Does he have another child named Ruby?
Right.
What is going on?
Yeah.
And so I went up there and I told the minister, and I shook the minister's hand. I said, my name is Ruth, is in the book of the Bible. And so that set that tone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was one of those things. And so, you know, my husband has helped me do many things. My husband, you know, after I married him, he's a state trooper. He was governor of Fordyce's security chief. And, you know, I made a bad decision coming home from work one night on the corner of Watkins and Beasley, and I made a mistake going to get gas when I didn't know that they sold drugs there. I was brutally attacked. It was a very long time ago, and nobody would help me. Nobody would help me. Like, nobody. Zero. And
You mean during the attack or after?
during. Yeah.
Mm.
And eventually, I fought with everything I had. I beat the tar out of him just as much as he beat me. That's just me. And it's so funny because somebody approached me in Broad Street like 6 weeks ago. They came up from behind, and I like to put them on the floor.
Yeah. That's still there. for
Yeah,
sure.
don't come up behind me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Because you may not like what you're gonna
Yeah.
see. But you know, it is what it is. And then so, you know, we didn't know about trauma what we did back then, but we do know today. And so I was newly married. I was attacked at a gas station. And the most important thing was me on Fridays when I would go see the physician because he was treating me for trauma. He was treating me for night terrors. I couldn't sleep. So he was really loading me up. He's treating the symptoms.
Of course.
You know, it's not his fault. He was treating the symptoms. And then I added alcohol on top of it. And so in a period of 6 months from the day I was attacked until the day I was admitted to Whitfield, and that's where I went to treatment was
Yeah.
Whitfield. And I'm a huge advocate for Whitfield.
Of course.
And
Yeah,
breaking
they do
this-
good work.
Yeah.
They do amazing work. And I
It's
was
tough
really
over there.
blessed
Yeah.
to be able to, I went before the judge. And of course, you grow up in Jackson, your family knows everybody. And he said, what are you doing here? And I said, I need to go save my life. And I was in a blackout when I did that. And so I court committed myself to Whitfield. And then I went and I spent a month trying to educate. Well, when I came to after 3 weeks in detox, I was in a blackout. I didn't even wake up. And when I came to, I was like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Right.
What am I doing
I'm going to
here?
have to leave now.
Yeah, I need to.
It's time for me to go.
uncork
I need to call
myself.
my attorney.
Yeah.
Right. That's I
The one
said.
that I volunteered myself
I'm
to.
I'm calling the health department.
Yeah.
There's some things that need to be reported here.
That's so funny she was doing that even then.
Yeah.
I mean, I was.
That's
I
so
was.
funny.
It's a character defect or something.
No, I love
And
it.
so,
It's
you know, and so they called my husband appropriately, and he said no. If she leaves, I'm divorcing her. And that's when Sandy, who was my counselor in treatment, said, I actually wrote about it and posted about it on my Facebook page in a meditation forum this week that, you know, when somebody asked me, it was her who asked me, did I bring anything to treatment with me? And I brought my Bible. I'm a good little Southern Baptist girl, grew up in First Baptist Jackson, all those things. And she's told me to go and put my Bible under my bed. And when I'm on my knees, I need to pray for acceptance and surrender.
Old school. I love
and
it.
that when I did that,
Yep.
the spiritual awakening happened.
Wow.
And my life changed.
Yeah.
I never once asked for, you know, like when I was going home, I never did all that. But I will tell you, we were well taken care of out at that building because if you brought something, you had to bring enough for everybody. And so the first lady would send food out there all the time, prepared by the chef.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's
on the
awesome.
weekends.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it's also, that's where I made a decision. And I was there for almost six months. And
Wow.
I did not feel safe going home because I just didn't for many
Yeah,
reasons.
all that trauma was still there. And,
Right.
And
you
so
know,
so we got an apartment out by Whitfield because that's where I felt safe. We didn't have any furniture whatsoever, zero. We had our puppy and we slept on an air mattress.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that allowed me to do whatever the treatment team asked me to do because I had to make myself the priority. I couldn't go back and be working because I was a really bad workaholic.
Mhm.
You know, the isms follow you wherever you go, whether
Right.
it's work, eating, whatever.
Absolutely.
And so after about a year, we made a decision to go back home, and I had to rebuild that relationship with my mom.
Mhm.
And if you had told me that I was going to be my mom's caregiver when she got sick and I was going to be administering medication and all these things, I would say you lost your mind. I would. But
Yeah.
I could do everything because I was a person in recovery and I could do it the right way.
Yeah.
And I could show up and be the person that I could because that's who she needed me to be.
Sure.
And she had one of the things that she had was macular degeneration. And so it robs you of your vision.
Right.
Well, she was still telling me how to drive the car, all those things. I mean,
Right.
just really, I mean, that
Right.
was her. And she said, so her pain, she also had multiple myeloma. And so her pain got so bad, and she did not want to take any pain medication, none, zero. And so I spoke to her doctor. I said, you need to give her a low dose of fentanyl, a
Yeah.
fentanyl patch. And so I told her, I said, we're going to put you on some birth control patches.
Oh, wow.
And this is going to help you.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's just, okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Right.
what she did.
If
Okay.
birth control will
It's,
help,
Yeah.
let's do
you
it.
know, 72-year-old woman.
Right.
Right.
But yes, we did. And so she had a great sense of humor. And I mean, she was hysterical. And so we did that. And I would have to take her back and forth to the emergency room sometime. And one time she was being admitted. And she's screaming for a birth control patch to the nurse. I need my birth control patch right now. And they
Oh,
looked at me
goodness.
like I said, look, it's fentanyl.
Yeah.
Just give her a fentanyl patch.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
right.
only way I could get her to take pain medication.
Wow.
Wow.
So, you know, our genes run deep and far.
Mhm.
And, you know, but what I've learned is life lessons. And I learned that if I wake up in the morning and I pray and meditate, I'm going to have a good day. If I wake up in the morning and I don't pray and meditate, I'm going to have a really bad day.
Yeah.
But learning to hit my knees was a game changer for me. It was a game changer for my sobriety. It was a game changer for my spirituality. You know, and I do what God's called me to do, and I get to do it every day, you know, either in community or throughout the state or with Capstone and helping families navigate that next season of their life. It's
Mhm.
just, you know, we're only here for a short time and we're not promised tomorrow, so we have to get as much as we can in today.
That's right.
And you got into recovery work not long.
No, I went right into
yeah,
it.
St. D, right?
Yes,
That's what
so I
Heather said.
started-
Saint D.
Yeah.
We helped a lot of people. at
Yeah.
St.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Let me
hear
tell you.
stories all the time. Yeah.
Oh, we all have those stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went and volunteered. That's back when you could go volunteer at hospitals
Gotcha.
and make a difference. And then I was going back to school to become a counselor. And I would work, sometimes I would work 12-hour shifts like a tech. And I tell people, anybody that wants to work in this industry, anybody, I don't care if you're starting when you're 50 or you're starting when you're 22,
Mm-hmm.
you need to go be a tech first because that is the best training you can get in the world.
No
You learn
doubt.
how to do vital signs. You can
Right.
do all those things. And it was the best education I could have ever gotten.
I bet.
And-
Crisis situations, things
Yeah.
like that.
You
Well,
know.
what clients perceive to be crises.
Yes,
Right.
that's
Right.
exactly right.
Which can be there's
Yeah.
a difference, you know.
I mean, I can remember, there's story after story after story. Like, I can remember when somebody didn't show up to drive the van to go pick up patients from across the street and bring them back to the psych hospital,
yeah,
you know, because it was a substance abuse in it, and then there was psych.
right.
There was intermediate, and there was acute.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on acute team. Like, if a code came, we all went and we took turns.
Yeah.
And so they said, oh, my God, Ruth Ann, you can go get an MVR and you can drive the van and pick up people. I was like, no.
Yeah, no thanks.
No,
yeah.
no, mm-mm.
I'm gonna pass.
Just do it this one time, Ruth Ann. I was like, okay. Here's your walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
And so I go and pick up people, and I'm like going through the red light, bless their hearts.
Oh.
And they having a bad day up in that
Yeah,
van.
for sure.
And I said, I need all hands on deck in the parking lot. The minute I hit it, please, they're
Come
going
outside.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And look, they jumped out of that van. Some of them wanted to run, and we got everybody taken care of, and they were safe and medicated. And
Yeah.
and I went up to Trey Swartzfeger's office with the van keys, and I slammed them on his desk. I said, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
Never. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So, but, back then we could take the patients like to St. James, to 12-step
Right.
meetings.
Yeah.
And that was just old school days. And,
Yeah.
and it was an incredible education. We helped a lot of people. Dr. Ken Cronin was the addictionologist there, and the nurses and medical teams. I mean, they just really cared.
Lots of really good people in our community
Yeah,
started
they
there.
did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
And that's, my mom still ran the alumni stuff. And there was
Cool.
Ruth Searcy was there at the time. So Ruth Searcy was actually my mom's counselor when she was at Doctor's Hospital, and Eileen Warwick. And so I affectionately call them the White Haired Club.
Yeah.
I love
And
it.
the White Haired Club,
Legends.
and Courtney knows them too.
Yeah.
We were talking about some Catherine on the way to the restroom a minute ago.
Yeah.
But it's Ruth Searcy. It was Catherine Turcott. It was Eileen McRae. It was Eileen Warwick. And
Legends.
they're
Yeah,
legends.
they are.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, when they called, you answered, and you did whatever they told you
That's
to
right.
do.
Yeah.
And Sister Paulina's.
Yeah, of course.
Sister
Can't forget
Paulina.
Sister Paulina.
And so, and God loved Sister Paulina. She had a clothes closet that, she would have the Beau Rivage sending stuff up there, bedding, all kinds of stuff. She took care of a lot of people in our community.
Yeah.
And, that's sometimes the things that we miss in the community. And that's kind of, when I think of defining wellness, I think about that, you're a pillar in the community, that you're able to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We
'Cause
certainly
that was
want
the
that to be the
missing,
case.
that was the missing link, you
Yeah.
know.
For a long time.
But a lot of people got sober there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you have really helped ramp up, start, continue on with lots of programs, but I do think it's important to mention your time at Pine Grove. I mean, that was pivotal.
Oh, Pine
to-
Grove is legendary.
Yes.
So I can
OG Pine Grove days.
yeah.
So
Yes.
Susan Slaughter was my first boss
She's amazing.
at Pine Grove, and she tasked me with many things. I first was hired in as the alumni coordinator to build out their alumni program. This is before alumni programs were cool,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I could just do that in my sleep.
Right.
And then probably about a year and a half later, she pulled me to a national team.
Gotcha.
And, I firmly believe when you're tasked with really making a difference, you have to meet as many people as you possibly can. And I do things really old school way, because when you're doing marketing and business development, the people that you want to touch are the ones that are in the sessions. They're the therapists.
Right.
And so I was blessed to meet so many famous people. Like, I had no problem walking up to the presenter and introducing myself and giving them my card and,
Right.
let us know how we can help you. And that just meant a lot. And even when I was at St. Dominic's, I would do site visits to treatment centers because we wanted to be sure that that person was getting the care that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And, we treated a lot of professionals at St. Dominic's. They treated professionals at Pine Grove.
Mhm.
And, Pine Grove is what some people don't remember about Pine Grove is it's an extension of Forest Health, which is
Right.
Forest General Hospital.
Mhm.
And, to have a community-based hospital, be a national leader for
Yeah.
back then sex addiction, gaming, and porn, and the Women's Center, and acute psych, and children, and
They were kind of the pioneer.
They were,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
They were.
Patrick Carnes, and
Mhm.
then he started the Meadows. I mean, he was kind of the pioneer
Yeah.
of
Oh,
what
yeah.
we see.
yeah. And then we tapped Carver and
Oh
Lauren.
yeah.
And they kind of took that ball and ran with it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's amazing to me. God opens the door where He wants you to go, no matter what. And sometimes you just need to shut your mouth and listen. And He opened a door for me after I met this amazing man named Dr. Adrian Hickman
Mm-hmm.
at a marriage and family therapy conference in Memphis, Tennessee. And I was like, because I go around and meet people, whether they're exhibitors or presenters, it just makes a difference.
Yeah, of
Sure.
course.
And I was just in awe of what he had created up in Searcy, Arkansas
Yeah.
for, adolescent young adult men. I'd never heard of a 2-to-1 therapist to client ratio.
Yeah, it's you don't hear
very,
about that.
we increased the bed space to like 32. Now we're at 52, and Adrian's still very much a part of Capstone, and his son bought the company from his dad, and they have just gone to the next level, and in a good way, to be able to help as many people as you possibly can, and to meet the families along the way that are struggling. But at the end of the day, you just do what's right for that family that's in front of you, no matter what.
Absolutely.
I mean,
now, do y'all treat women now, girls?
No, that's on the wish list.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it's called Encounter at New Canaan Ranch. So that's
Okay.
where the women's center will be.
Okay.
It'll treat pretty much 18 to 38 for trauma and attachment issues, and so that's on the wish list.
That's awesome.
And knowing you and whether Capstone's a unique fit.
Mm-hmm.
The resources from an organization standpoint to be able to train the staff the way that y'all do, to be able to do the ratios and to do the amount of individuals. I mean, that's a lot of resources. I mean, I see what we spend on a lot of things, whether it's psychiatric, medical, clinical.
Right.
I can't imagine what that looks like.
They believe in education.
Yeah,
they
it's great.
believe in therapists being the best that they can be. They want them to have additional disciplines. And that's a commitment that therapist has to make to Capstone. It's a 4-year minimum. It's called our fellowship program,
which is brilliant
and
by
that,
Dr. Hickman to put that
they
in place.
will, they will make. If they decide to leave, they have to pay the money back. But it's like almost a $60,000 investment.
Yeah,
They've also added IFS,
which is
family
awesome.
systems,
Internal family
systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a new buzzword
Yeah, it
IFS
is.
has saved a lot of my life, that's for sure.
now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You did IVS?
IFS, yeah. I
IFS,
did a lot
You
of
almost
IFS.
said IVF.
Oh,
Yeah,
IVF.
IVF. Well, maybe one day. Maybe one day. No, I IFS and I did a lot of psychodrama too.
Yeah.
That's, which is interesting because when I talk to a lot of our colleagues in the community and really even around the country that are clinicians, I get a lot of mixed reviews on psychodrama. But man, it helped me.
See, I think a lot for those of us who work in the private sector, we can really make a difference in the public sector too.
Yeah.
And, just kind of blending those worlds, I think would just create a synergy
For
that
sure.
is not seen on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we I haven't been doing this long, but I think we've come a long way just in the last few years. I think we got a long way to go, and y'all know how Mississippi is.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're the last of the party in certain areas, but it's
Others, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing
I
pretty
think
good.
so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think we've, and I know you've been a huge part of bringing a lot of issues to the forefront, whether it's the gas station stuff or, I mean, one thing I would love for the state of Mississippi to be able to do is treat primary mental health at a residential level of care.
yeah.
I mean,
That
I
would
just
be
don't,
amazing.
I mean, the amount of phone calls between all of us in this room that we
Right.
probably get every month
Right.
is
It's-
not measurable. It's
just-
you lose count.
Yeah.
No.
Even and especially for, and we'll talk about first responders in Mississippi in a second, but especially for that
Oh, the demographic.
demographic, veterans and first responders, which we treat here, but there has to be a substance component. And I'm just like, it doesn't even have to be us, just somewhere
Somewhere. Where?
they got to go out of state.
Yeah.
They got to go out of
And
state.
and
And their insurance has to pay for that,
That's right.
yeah.
which is a whole nother conversation.
Right.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
That's
a
an
whole
episode.
nother episode.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yes,
for
that's
sure.
a whole nother episode. Somebody asked me about that the other day. Oh, I was in a meeting this week
Yep.
and I brought that up. I was
Mhm.
like, they were asking, well, how can we help you? And
Yeah.
I said, I think I think all first responders need to have the same deductible, and it's across the board.
Yeah,
It's
like a
not across the
TRICARE type
board.
of situation
Right.
for
Yeah.
for active duty individuals.
Yeah, and so that's kind of it can be a sticky wicket,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
and
Because when we treat, we'll treat somebody, whether they're with, the sheriff's office or their firefighter or their EMT, and
Right.
These two, the insurance could pay, and this one may not have substance abuse benefits. Or
Oh,
this one may
right.
not have
And,
mental health
and we
benefits.
work so hard on a national level for parity.
Right.
And, I think that's what they're trying to do now in Washington
Good.
is really who are the true, authentic people doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
Because some people, unfortunately, have applied for different funding and things like that, and they take the funding and run.
Yep.
And then when the funding gets recalled, they get angry. Well,
Right.
you didn't do this and this and this.
Right.
You cannot accept money from federal or the state, have a plan, and not do what your plan says, or we're going to take your money.
Exactly.
Which
Oh, yeah.
makes perfect sense.
Right.
But some
You know.
people are just perplexed by the idea.
Yeah.
Of that, which
Yeah,
is interesting.
it's the business model.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It is for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Capstone's incredible. We know, we can talk more about Capstone, but I know like first responders in Mississippi. Let's talk about that because I know how near and dear that is to you, to the Colonel. I have met so many people involved with it, first responders, whether it's Marcus or it's, Colonel Maxwell. Like, I love those guys.
Those are good people.
Yeah, they're good
good
people. And so when did that spark for you?
So my husband retired. My husband's a retired lieutenant colonel from the Highway Patrol. He retired, I think, in 2020 something.
Mhm. Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
I have no timeline
A
anymore.
few years ago, whatever.
I'm still I'm still the sweet young thing.
Yeah.
It's just getting closer. But we Jody said he really, and he will tell you that he really didn't understand what I did until he retired and he started riding with me some.
Yeah.
And it blew his mind because, he was used to writing tickets and putting people in jail.
Right.
And he will tell you that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, I was already on a task force. I'd been put on some task force back then to help first responders if, something happened and I got called and I just took care of it.
Right.
And, things have, certainly in the last couple of years, they've heated up for our military. They've heated up for our first responders. And it's challenging.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about some of the challenges a minute ago with deductibles and things like that. And there's such a stigma. We face the stigma every day being an alcoholic and a drug addict, okay?
Totally different.
And
with them.
if, and then just imagine if you're a first responder and, oh, by the way, you're an alcoholic and a drug addict. Oh, no.
Yeah, no way.
No.
Right.
Can't talk about that.
And it's breaking. It's a whole nother barrier. I mean, it's a huge barrier because there's so much stigma attached to it. And there were certain events that had happened, and honestly, I got so angry about it that I turned my anger into doing something about it.
Mhm.
I'm not going to sit on the sidelines and watch people die.
Yeah.
I will
Right.
not.
Yeah.
And so Jody, he made some phone calls like Jody does.
Yeah.
And that's how First Responders of Mississippi was born. It was a horrible incident in North Mississippi, and we raised $75,000 to go out of state
Wow.
to take that whole team that had been affected. And
Mm.
that's when we saw the healing take place.
Mhm.
And what's beautiful about it is Mississippi has some amazing resources, and we have amazing clinicians and therapists that are very passionate about helping people. But it takes a very specific, gifted therapist to meet a first responder where they are
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
on their journey, whatever their journey is. I'm not saying, they could have medical trauma. They
Mhm.
could have family issues coming up. Their son may be diagnosed with an ungodly disease and they need help sorting that out. And then, somebody their house may have burned down. And so those are the things that we got into action, and Jody actually did probably most of the heavy lifting, getting the nonprofit and everything set up. And, we have an amazing board, and, we've been around for almost 10, 11 years.
Wow.
But we've also, my husband has had his own journey in the last couple of years with his health.
Yeah.
And so he's been really focusing on that. And like Kim Mathis is our vice president. I mean, all of us do our part to make a difference. But just the call volume has gone up,
Well,
and it's crazy.
I'm sure.
I mean, it's transformed and from just I've seen it transform. I can't imagine in the last decade how much it's
I
transformed.
can't believe
now
it's
with
been that long.
fundraisers and I'm sure it started as providing resources in certain ways, but I mean, y'all are doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
now.
when the colonel or the chief of the highway patrol calls and says, I need you to be here,
Yeah.
you just go.
Yeah. For
Yes.
Sure.
Whatever it is.
Right.
And you just make it happen.
Mhm.
And, with insurance challenges and deductible challenges and things like that, I mean, you have to really have those relationships on a national level
Absolutely.
that can really help people. Like, if we have somebody in North Mississippi, obviously we're not going to put somebody in North Mississippi. They're going to go south or they're
Yeah.
going to come here
Mhm.
Right.
because they fight that demon. They fight that stigma, and they don't want to be in treatment where they're the people that they put in jail are.
Yeah. That's all. That's a huge
I didn't even
part of
think
it,
about
too.
that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge part of it too.
Yeah.
And so you have to be, y'all do a great job with first responders, and we appreciate that, because here's what I'll tell you is there's a short window to get people help. We fast track, quite a few people, even the families that are going to Capstone, they're fast tracked, or whoever, wherever.
Mhm.
I mean, I want somebody admitted in less than an hour.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I will tell you, your team gets it done.
Yeah.
Pine Grove gets it done. I mean,
Yeah.
there's great.
the sense of urgency.
The
There's
sense
got to
of-
be.
It's a sense of urgency. It's not, well, we'll call you back in 3 days.
Right.
No, somebody will be dead in 3
Unacceptable.
days.
Yeah.
But here's what I will tell you, and I want people to hear what I'm saying about this. If you're a first responder and let's say you get a call to go to a house and and that's a first responder's house, you don't go in there and pat them on the back and say, hey, buddy, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Right.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Mhm.
And we had an incident come up where we were called to someone's house, and I don't go in people's houses unless I have Jody and his
Right.
team and that kind of stuff, and we are giving permission to go in. This guy had 16 loaded guns in his house, and
Yeah.
nobody thought to ask, are there any loaded guns in the house?
Right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jody removed all of them and gave them to his mother.
Wow.
But those are, you just can't, it's hard when it's in your own backyard. And that's why I tell people all day, every day, you need to reach out of your backyard and call some people that can help you.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. And I mean, for us, speaking for DW, like we have to understand our role in the treatment process, because you're talking about generational trauma in combination with trauma that they see every day, and they're utilizing their insurance to come to treatment here. So how long really are they going to be here?
Right.
And what can we really accomplish within reason while they are here? And really what we need to do is, and I don't want to
Set the
speak.
tone,
Yeah, I don't want to
right? I
speak
mean,
for our clinical team.
yeah.
I'm not clinical, but I'm very much aware of what it is that we do and what we don't do. And
Right.
what we do is we need to address what we can.
Right.
We need to get into what we should, and we don't need to get into what we shouldn't.
Agreed.
And we need to set the stage, like you said,
Mhm.
for the next step when they get out.
Right.
And
That's
then
the key.
That's
Really.
the biggest piece.
I
That's,
mean-
that's what
Discharge-
our job
discharge.
is.
The
That's-
discharge plan is the
That's
biggest
what treatment
piece.
facilities
Yeah.
like us forget.
And
They
so
forget
here's
what
my
that
dream.
is.
My dream is this. We have nurses, doctors, lawyers, and judges that have a 5-year monitoring program.
Right.
And I really firmly believe that that's one of the missing pieces for first responders.
Yeah.
I mean, and families in general. I mean,
Oh,
we've
yeah,
got a
that's-
great family program at Capstone. I think it's important for families to be dialed in. Y'all have the Recovery Collective as part of it. I
Yeah.
think that's a huge piece
Mm-hmm.
because we want to help the whole family heal. And if one person comes, who's helping them on the back end?
Right.
And that's the scary part. So we want to be able to do that. I spoke to a friend of mine, Susan Cleland,
She's the.
this week, and
Love
she was.
Susan.
She's got the golf tournament coming up. She
yeah,
texted.
we all need to
Yeah.
go.
Are you
for
going?
sure.
Are we going?
Yeah.
We're
It's,
involved.
It's
Okay,
on. It's
good.
on Friday.
Yeah.
Is it on Friday the 17th?
It's.
Well, I'm gonna look.
Yeah.
But and so I called her about a lot of things, and we were just bouncing some things off. So Susan Cleland is a very gifted Mississippian.
Yes,
she and her
is.
husband both are, and their nonprofit is Mission Vigilant. And first responders in Mississippi and Mission Vigilant partner on quite a few cases.
great.
Because 9 times out of 10, a first responder is also going to be in the military.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's
Oh, she told us a story
Yeah.
about calling
Yeah.
Ruth Ann from the interstate.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah
Our
Yes.
first podcast episode ever was with
Yeah.
Susan.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And so she called us and I called Max. I said, Max, time to roll. Let's
Yeah.
go. And so we went and made it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that was several years ago and they came here. So
Yep.
you know,
Great.
I think it's all how you speak to people.
I saw that individual not long ago. by
Oh
the
wow.
way.
See miracles happen every day.
And he approached me not
Mm-hmm.
knowing who I was, and I had no clue who he was.
Yeah.
And it was
Wow.
when we connected the dots, because that was a crisis situation,
Oh.
and I
Oh,
was
boy,
and
was
I
it.
was involved as
Yeah.
from representing
Right.
us, and he's very grateful,
Yeah.
very grateful.
That's
You know,
great.
a lot, and I probably can speak for all of us because a lot of times we don't hear the good stuff.
Yeah.
We're on the back end and the front end for the bad stuff.
Mhm.
Like I got a text message from this lady I'd helped, this year, and she says, "Oh my God, Ruth Ann, I wouldn't be here without you." And thank you for helping our son, and, get to Capstone, and
Right.
it's just, and I'll say that about Capstone. About halfway through the treatment process, we're putting parents in treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
Absolutely.
beauty of the family program. It helps identify needs
Yeah.
immediately. But there's a lot of valid points of what everybody is saying, and so we just try to do the next right thing for first responders. We're not a GoFundMe. I hate GoFundMes.
Right.
I don't hate GoFundMes. Let me rephrase that. There's a time and a place for everything, but I've seen quite a few people get burned.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's what I don't want to
Yeah.
have
Which
happen
is
to somebody get
sad but true.
burned.
Mm.
And just in our state in the last month alone, a lot of things have happened pretty traumatically
Absolutely.
to first responders. And
Mhm.
here's what we won't do: we're not gonna go intrude on somebody's trauma. If they've been shot, they've been run over.
Mhm.
We wait until the family calls us or somebody from their agency calls us.
Mhm.
But at the end, we have to have a phone call with the family, to find out what the needs are.
Right.
And there's a lot of different things for first responders that they have no idea that they can tap,
Right.
a lot of great benefits. And so, a lot of first responders have financial issues. We help get them with a wellness coach, a financial wellness coach. That can help them get back on track. And, several like Community Bank is our
Yeah.
bank, they have a financial wellness track. And it's just really meeting them where they are, no matter what the need is,
That's amazing.
We send quite a few people out of state just because that's
Have
what's
to.
needed. But we really try to take in consideration what is going on with that individual. And, we have treatment partners. We have therapists who we have really vetted these therapists, and they have what this individual needs, and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is. And you've been involved in helping start up some other states'
Yeah.
nonprofits
Yeah.
as well, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing, in recovery, we have, in order for us to keep it, we have to give it away.
That's right.
And I believe wholeheartedly in sharing any
Yeah.
type of information that can help somebody else's state become.
Yeah.
And that's what we're called to do. And, whether it's being on a committee for NATAP, I really encourage people to get involved in organizations that can help make a difference. Like you lit the whole committee up yesterday on fire for excitement about this initiative. And I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I texted them. I texted a few of them. We had a committee meeting yesterday for a summit that we're doing next year called Fighting for Mississippi Families. And hopefully it's going to be in April or the summer at Broadmoor Baptist Church. But we had that committee, and Daniel just lit everybody up about that
That's
initiative.
great.
And I was like, how come I don't know about this? Daniel, how come you didn't tell me about this?
I really didn't do anything but
Oh, yes, he did, Courtney.
We were talking about families and employers and recovery, and I brought up Kimberly with recovery.
Oh, yes.
Because we were talking
She's
about different
incredible.
tracks to have at the conference.
Amazing.
Which Kimberly, I'm calling you today or
Yeah.
tomorrow, so
Yeah.
you're being
And then-
volunteered to speak at this conference.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So,
oh,
I mean,
she'll do great.
you know,
She's a
I
badass.
just believe in making a difference. Wherever my feet are, I want to make a difference. And, you know, Neely, Carlton Lyons, and I, and a few other people back in 2012, we created the Opioid and Heroin Summit to really make a difference in our state. And it got a lot of traction. And, you know, sometimes we have to take sabbaticals. And it's been on a sabbatical for probably about 2 years now. And so we have decided to bring a similar event back, but potentially naming it Fighting for Mississippi Families and really making a difference next year. You know, usually about 550 people come to that, you know, that they're coming to get hours. We're going to have a family component that's huge. And, you know, the highlight of the meeting yesterday was, of course, Kimberly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the trailer.
Right.
You know, the trailer
the
that
trailer.
the girls want, that they want to decorate and create a virtual room. And that was like really cool because they've done that a lot in other states.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's given a family a virtual experience in a trailer trying to find out where the kids' hiding places are in their rooms. And then we took it one step further to potentially talk about if they're having digital issues and, you know, how to do those things. But, I mean, we get to do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, we do.
You know?
I mean, we do, and there's such a long list. I feel like we could talk forever about it. I do want to bring up the holiday networking toy drive and luncheon just because that's coming up, and I feel like people are going to ask, how can we get involved?
Oh, yes. We
And
love volunteers.
I feel like that's a great segue.
You know, we started the holiday luncheon probably 24 years ago.
And the
My
first meeting was in the
gosh.
Little Red House in Madison, or
No, it was at Costas's Daddy's
Okay.
restaurant
Heather
on
mentioned
McWillie.
something about y'all meeting.
It was at Costas's Daddy's restaurant on McWillie.
Wow.
God bless America.
God bless
Isn't that
America.
incredible? So
and
fun.
then, of course,
Did you have it at Bravo one year?
oh yes,
Yeah,
Then we
yeah.
outgrew Bravo really quick,
Yeah, I
and then
bet.
we went home to Broadmoor, and
Yeah.
they're just a great community partner because it creates a synergy throughout our state,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it's presented by First Responders of Mississippi. We couldn't do it without sponsorships. You know, I think that has opened up today on Eventbrite
Okay,
because
good.
we're trying to open things up earlier. But what we do is we really honor everyone is there because they have boots on the ground, from, you know, people that are peer support specialists to therapists to counselors to pastors. Anybody that has boots on the ground helping somebody, they need to come and have that experience. You know, it is our annual holiday networking luncheon and toy drive. We do toy drives for first responder children and community partners because we have identified some people in our community that also need some assistance. They don't have some heavy lifters.
Thousands of toys.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's-
event is
I
free,
mean, I love
as you
picking
know.
out my toys I'm
But,
taking.
you know, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And so it's coming up on Tuesday, December the 1st at Broadmoor Baptist Church, and doors open at 11. And Danny Squared is doing something with cameras, and so is Mason Crow. So we have those already sealed.
That's great.
I'm going to call him Danny Squared the rest of his life. Yeah. So,
Well, in December we'll be here before we know it. But
yeah,
I
it's
just,
right around the corner.
I just want to say, you know, if you want to get connected to good people that are doing tons of,
Come.
I mean, there
Yeah,
are
they're good
first
people.
responders there are physicians, there are
yeah.
therapists, there
And
are,
let's talk about our awards.
and there are awards.
That's right.
Yes.
Lots
So-
of good awards.
So the awards are the Champion in Recovery Award. That's for a person that is in recovery that just does amazing things in recovery. And then we have the Ruth Glaze Difference Maker Award that's named after Ruth Glaze, of course.
Yes.
And then we have the Rob England First Responder of the Year.
Yep.
And then we have the Andy Petro Firefighter of the Year. And then we have the Community Organization of the Year. And that's a community organization that has done heavy lifting all year to help first responders.
It's great.
And last year it was Outback.
Yeah.
And because that man, Steve,
Oh yeah.
does a lot.
He does a lot.
And so, you know, someone that really, you know, in the community that's making a difference like that, you know, those nominations will open up in the next day or so.
Nice.
But one of the challenges that we have, like right now at First Responders, we have gotten requests in the last 2 weeks of from firehouses that I need to buy 6 box fans. We need to be able to pay for hotel for people going out of state. I mean, there's significant needs, and I set a goal of $10,000, and I've been trying to raise $10,000 for the last 2 weeks, and not $1 has been committed.
Really?
Because I don't know why, but it has blown my mind.
Huh.
But I think there's a lot of organizations that need a lot of help, and I think sometimes you can exhaust the need versus the request.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so, I'm determined to have that because I know those firehouses are hot.
Right.
I know it.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they have water sitting out for the runners.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They always do. So nice.
But here's what I want to say, Daniel. I mean, all of us are in recovery in this room, and you've done extraordinary things, and you're our future. You are our future. He is our future.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney, you're the future too, but we're on the way to a different future.
y'all been doing good stuff for a very long time.
But in order to keep it, you got to give it
That's
away,
right.
and it doesn't matter what you're doing. And I just really applaud what I watched Phil Nutt's podcast yesterday. I was like, well, I'm going to go do it, and let's see what he did. And so he had the nut effect. Literally, somebody shared it. And I said, Button
I can't
shared
wait
it.
to watch
Button,
it.
good.
Button shared it, and I said the nut effect.
Yeah.
Because it's the nut effect.
Yeah, for sure.
In a good way.
Absolutely.
And that's why, I think it's important for people to see us doing really well in recovery. Used to, you didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
But now, we
Right.
need to shout it from the rooftops because we want people to know that recovery is possible. I mean, I love it when people say, oh, do you want a drink? No.
Right.
There's not enough alcohol in this room.
Yeah.
For me.
Right.
And I said, you wouldn't like the person that I'm going to be
My
that.
favorite
Right.
is, I love going to eat dinner with Doug Lyons for that very reason. Because you know how Doug is. Doug's very descriptive about things.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
very intelligent.
Oh, yeah.
And, anytime, like, I've been with him to eat dinner, several times a year. Last time I
What
went
does
to
he
eat with him,
say?
he was like, let me tell you something. It was me and, like, Pat Flanagan.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
was when everybody was here for the McCoy House
Oh, yeah.
golf tournament. Phil,
Yeah.
Dan Gilmer. I mean, we had a crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Doug just very descriptively let the waiter know, like, you do not want to give this table any alcohol.
Oh, it's
Right.
not me, Doug.
Trust me.
So it's pretty funny.
That's
But
Who would have thought Doug Lyons would live in good old Mississippi?
I love it. I think it's hilarious.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And he's taking it in stride. He has.
I
Oh,
just
yes.
remember him calling for Dr. Gordon at Copac. Hey, Courtney, give me Lloyd.
Give me
Hold
Lloyd.
on.
Lions is on the
And
plane.
so, oh yeah, and so Neely would travel with me. This is This is like a long time ago when I was at Capstone, and she would travel and speak for me on the circuit, and we
Yeah.
were literally. I swear, I think we were at Amelia Island, and it was me and Neely and the CERC team and Doug and Gary
Oh, yeah.
Fisher, and it was just those group of people.
That's the best.
And somehow or another, Neely and Doug sat next to each other. And then something special happened.
That's
yeah.
And so it's
incredible.
funny now, all my single friends, they want to travel with me when they hear that story because, well, if Neely can find somebody, I can too.
Yeah,
That's
there you go.
right.
That's great. I love them. They're the best.
But Neely was instrumental in doing the opioid and heroin summit. And, she is
She's a force.
She is a force, and she is a brilliant force.
she is.
And, I love to be with people that are a whole lot smarter than I am.
Yeah.
Me too.
It certainly helps. It really does.
Yeah.
All right, couple more things.
Okay.
I mean, we could go on forever. I feel like we haven't covered anything at this point. I mean, we have, but like,
Oh, yeah.
what we know. we
What are
can.
your burning desires?
I want to know, 29 years long-term recovery, however many years, 20 sounds like close to 29 years working in the field. What excites you about where the field is today, and what doesn't excite you about where the field is today without going, too descriptive?
I think it's important that people remain hungry and humbled,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what role they're in. there are a lot of people that want to get help. I don't think they understand how to ask for it. I think there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and we just need to be able to reach them on their terms. So I think there's some different ways to do that. I think you have to be available for families. I don't think you can. Here's what I'll tell you. Families and people needing help, when they call you, that's the most important person you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Whether it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it takes to get it done.
Right.
And I think sometimes people are rushed, if we've referred, Tom, Dick, and Harry to Sally, Sue, and Bob. And Sally, Sue, and Bob are they're not even trying to get to the core root of what's going on. And that person in front of them can read their signals.
Yeah.
And they see that they're not the priority for that.
Right.
And they walk off, and they may not walk back.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what my concern is, that's the different thing. And I think, the most important thing that we can do is be present, but it's the connection. You can't get connected like if you call a doctor's office, now you do not know if you're talking to a chat box or what.
Yeah.
And so I do think that is important, that people still have that direct contact with a human.
Human connection.
That human connection.
Yes.
Because that's what makes people feel safe, you know. And people are frightened and scared when they're trying to figure out what's going on. I had this young man I helped several years ago, and he's just a good guy. So he's called me because his mom needs some help.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been talking to him, and I said, look, you are not putting yourself in jeopardy here. I will take the ball and run with it. Yeah. Don't you do one thing. I don't need to tell you. And he's so polite. He's so respectful. And he called me again yesterday, and, I'm trying to help do some things. And I just picked up the phone and called his dad. I said, I need to tell you something. I said, your son is very nice. He's respectful. And, he just calls me, and it makes my day. Yeah. Even though I'm trying to help him do something. He's he is so nice. Yeah. And he's living the dream in Arizona.
That's awesome.
That's great.
And I said, don't you go near your mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody going
Stay
down the
out
rabbit
there.
hole. Yeah. And so those are the struggles that I see. I think we have short periods of time to get people the help that they need. The window will shut very quickly.
You got to act fast.
And I think we need to help everyone be able to access care, no matter what it is.
Right.
And, I firmly believe, and I said this in the committee meeting yesterday, that there is so much that we can donate our time to being sure that Mississippians get the help that they need by helping people in the public sector.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll never forget, I was trying to get somebody some help, and they had to go to a stabilization unit, and then I was planning their next level of care, and they said, well, there's no reason for that person to go to that next level of care because we can take care of everything here. And I said, no, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. And I said, and I think that's some of the challenge is that people hold on to people longer.
Yeah.
And they're not getting the help that they need.
Yeah, I think understanding your role and sticking to that role is really...
It's vital.
Yeah.
It's
what
vital.
can we do, like you were saying, what can we do right now, the best interest of the client, always.
I mean, and sometimes, whoever you're dealing with, whether it's a referral source or whoever, they may not like your answer, but as long as you tell them the truth, they're going to accept it for what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I look at people every day and say, I'm not going to lie to you, but you're not going to like what I'm going to say.
Right.
And it's not personal.
Right.
I'm going to tell you the truth. It's going to
Exactly.
make your life easier, I promise.
Right.
Maybe not for the next few minutes, but I'll help you.
Exactly.
I think it's important. I talked to Colonel Gillard about this, about how can we reach the first responder community. And they have this great event that Miss Susan was telling me about over in Rankin County. And I think that may be the low-hanging fruit that we can maybe do in other parts of the state.
Yeah.
That brings that community together, that ensures the trust factor, and that they can reach out because they're coming to a Bible study or something like that, or hearing a speaker. Because
I think keeping your ears open for stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like we've got to always be keeping our ears open and our eyes open.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's important. All right, Courtney, what's a burning question you have for me?
Oh, okay.
Yes, let's see
We're
what.
going to do our
Courtney-
usual
Do it.
question.
Courtney,
Yes, this is perfect.
Since Courtnney and I have known each other for eternity.
For
Long
eternity.
time, long time when Ruth Ann was at St. Dominic. Hey,
yeah.
Courtney, Ruth Ann.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
829-2500.
That's right. That's
Let me tell you, I know that number.
That's hilarious.
Call it from the landline.
That's
awesome.
right.
Oh my God, that was funny.
So, Ruth Ann, how do you take care of yourself?
Oh, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I used to
'Cause
spend.
you
I
do.
used to spend a lot of time
Yeah, you're busy.
with my Cocker Spaniels,
Yeah.
Callie and Darby,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and I've always had a Cocker Spaniel. And we have been without a Cocker Spaniels. We've been without Cocker Spaniels
Almost a
for 2 years.
2 years.
And it has been 2 years. So I had twin Cocker Spaniels. One died in September, one died in December, and then Lord knows everybody wanted to give me Cocker Spaniels. And I was like, just stay out of my lane,
Yeah,
please.
please
But
leave me alone.
you know, that brings me a whole lot of joy is
Mhm.
being with my girls and things like that. But you know, I just like being at home.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know, somebody says, why don't you go to Alaska with us? I said, I don't want to go to Alaska.
Right.
But maybe I do. But you know, my house is already frosty. I don't need to go somewhere else for it to be
Right.
frosty.
Right.
But you know, I do that. I love spending time with my husband.
Mhm.
He loves to be in his tractors.
Mm-hmm.
I you know, I
Yeah.
don't necessarily. I love things outdoors. I used to be a big hunter. I don't hunt anymore, but I flat feed everybody at my house.
Yeah.
Like Sunday night, the possums come.
That's right.
I was like, oh my God, Jody, look at the possum. He's so hungry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think he's an old man. He has no hair.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the raccoons come. I've just turned into this person.
That's so
Me
funny.
too. I
Well,
mean,
you're present at home.
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do. I love to shoot.
Mhm.
You know, there's nothing better than picking up a weapon.
Yeah.
And,
That's right.
And I've been trained by the best.
Yeah, you
Wow.
have.
And it's not my husband.
Yeah.
It's not my husband. Because when I met my husband, I could shoot better than he could. I could
That's
shoot
funny.
a rifle better than he could.
Oh
That's
my God.
hilarious.
And so he got me a Beretta. We went on a skeet shoot, something. We did the shootout for breast cancer or something, and one of the retired people from the Highway Patrol brought a Beretta, and I said, "I'm shooting that gun."
Yeah.
And then Santa Claus put it under the tree,
Oh,
and it's
man.
a fine
Oh,
weapon. It's a
my.
fine
They
weapon.
make good guns.
But
for
I
sure.
don't like to. I just like to shoot. I don't like to kill.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
I
what I
love
do.
it.
That's what I do. And I
Sounds
go to
wonderful.
meetings and do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I've never not done what my treatment team asked me to do.
You are good about that, even with regular checkups, and you're always like, "Well, I can't do it. I gotta go here for this or that."
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah,
Taking suggestions, you learned that at Whitfield when you got down on your knees that day.
I did.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I listen
Yeah.
to other people.
Yeah.
It's the best thing in the world that I can just tell people no.
Yeah.
You know.
It is
Very
man.
freeing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I loved when I learned that too.
And look, my sponsor would tear me up. I mean, I tear sponsees up,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you, if I,
Yeah, not happening.
I mean, like it's funny to see the different behaviors now that come out. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't let any of my sponsees watch Lifetime.
N-
No.
That's a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. It's
That's the most
non-negotiable.
Ruth Ann thing I've ever heard in my life.
Non-
Wait, why?
Because it's volatile. Then
It's
because
chaos.
because what? Then they start acting like it.
But you know what, though?
Right.
You know what?
It's
I
just,
get
I'm
that.
serious.
Yeah.
I get that. And I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but there is a part of me that loves a little reality TV from every now and
Oh
then.
no, I love reality.
And I'm
TV.
like, well, I guess Lifetime's not really reality.
oh, it's
is it?
not. It's detrimental.
soap
You
opera.
need to choose another thing, like Big Brother or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But those dynamics are something. And I you know, it's funny because I like watching mindless TV, like
Yeah.
mindless TV. So when my mom was still alive, I would record The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful because that's how I would see how her day went and if she was recalling
Mm,
what was happening on
Oh,
the set.
yeah.
And
right.
so then she got really creative and she would nap and then she would ask our caregiver that was taking care of my mom what happened. So she'd have the cliff note.
Oh my gosh.
Did they call them stories?
Oh yes, the stories.
I got my
Stories.
story at
Look,
noon.
my mom was so drunk when I was 6. She was like, "I'm keeping you home today so you can watch Days of Our Lives with me."
Oh man.
That's the truth.
So it goes way
It was
back.
so funny.
That's so good.
But I was very blessed because Ann Case was, like I mentioned at the very beginning, was my first grade school teacher, and like she went to Broadmoor. Like I could see her all the time, and she would just be that. She was that saving grace, and I told her, I said, you have no idea how much you saved my life when I was a kid. And I can say that for everybody at the education center, because I left Jackson Academy because it was a lot of things. I had a lot of family turmoil and all those things, and I went to the education center, and the education center is for the gifted and the challenged and all in between. And I was able to graduate early because I just went in there and killed it.
Yeah.
But like Lynn Macon and Debbie Stamper and Michelle Ogburn, I mean, they really meet kids where they're at, and I've been on their board for a long time.
Yeah, they're still running and gunning.
That's
It's still the
great.
same color it was when I was
Yeah,
there.
I
and
drive
was like,
past it when I take my boys to school.
But like it's the cement green on the inside.
Yeah.
It's the same, but the reason it is because it has a calming effect.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
It works.
It works.
Yeah.
It works for those kiddos.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
Did
Thank
we
you,
cover
Ruth
everything
Ann,
you
so
wanted?
much.
Well,
Yeah.
we did.
I feel
mean,
like I did not cover things like Phil Nutt did.
well, Phil Nutt
Is
and
this a
I.
competition?
No, no. But if you need somebody to put your knee scooter in the car,
He's your guy.
Daniel and Phil can do it.
Love it.
We did it.
I don't have my
Love
knee
it.
scooter anymore because Kevin Mathis borrowed it and then they ran over it.
Oh, well, that's no good. Well, you just don't need to have any more knee problems.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or ankle.
Yeah.
or
Hopefully
foot
you
or-
won't need it.
Yeah,
No.
that's right.
So thank you for the honor
Well,
to be here today.
absolutely.
We will. We'll make sure we tag you, Capstone, first responders, all the
thank you.
things. Y'all follow.
Danny
along.
will do that for
Yeah,
us.
that's right. Follow along. We appreciate everybody checking in. Ruth Ann, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
Ah.